Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am showing this love themed card using Hello Bluebird items. So first of all, the stamp set that I am going to use mainly is the Meadow Bunnies, and then there is also the Picked for You that I am using just to decorate the background. So I am going to do some no-line coloring with my distress ink. So here I am stamping out these images using antique linen onto Strathmore Bristol Smooth. So first of all, I really want to apologize for the length of this video. I tried to skip some parts that weren't that interesting. I sped things up, but still it is going to take half an hour. But if you are not interested in certain pieces of this video, you just skip it and then everything will be fine. But I couldn't speed anything more because otherwise you just would miss the things I'm doing. So, as I previously did, I am putting a paper towel beneath my acrylic block just to get it white behind it, and this way you can really see the color of the distress ink, as well as you can dab off your paintbrush that is a bit too wet or anything on the bottom of this paper towel which is still peeking from underneath the acrylic block. So I am first starting with mainly coloring in those background elements. Because I didn't want to smear anything, I just decided that I was going to work from left to right because I'm right-handed. And as I did before, I am adding the color there where I want it to be a bit darker. Then I grab a bit of water on top of my paintbrush. I dab my paintbrush off and then I drag that color a bit towards the rest of the image, just to get some sort of a smooth transition, as well as a difference between what needs to be darker, where I added the ink originally, and what can be a bit softer. So the colors of the flowers and the butterflies are actually based on the colors that I'm going to use for the background. So these colors will all return in my background, except for the wild honey, because that's just a color to add a bit more depth into those yellow butterflies. So just for those who are watching this as being one of my first videos, I am not a true watercoloring expert or anything. I just do what feels right, as well as I am not coloring this fast. It is like sped through 3 times the speed that I color it in with. So just don't think that it goes this quick. That's not realistic, or not in my case. So I am doing the same thing for each image, so adding that color onto the edges mostly, and then dragging it out towards the middle of the images. If you are interested later on in the colors that I used, I will list them down below in the description box. And for now I will put on some music and I will be back after all the images are colored in. So now all the images are colored in, and I am using the matching dies to die cut the images. I left this out to spare some minutes, but here I have two panels, sort of. I have a panel, basic rectangles from Mama Elephant that I used for that rectangle, and then I die cut another piece of that basic rectangle to get that stitch detail. And therefrom I took the Grassy border from Fawn to cut out a grass piece. I am blending on some distress inks, so I'm just making sure that the transition between the two colors is alright, and then I will splatter this piece a bit more with the darkest color of green that I am using here. So now onto the sky. I really wanted it to get a reddish color and also be a bit bright, so I'm using a combination of Festive berries, aged mahogany and fossilized amber, and in the end I will also be adding a bit of black soot to darken even more the top of this panel. So I'm just blending back and forth, and the same thing as with the grass, I will also be splattering some of the Festive berries as well as the aged mahogany on the rest of this background. Another thing that I skipped in this video, just to save some time, I recreated this background on a piece that I had left over from another card. Because later on in this video I will be cutting out a few letters to create the love you in the sky, and I wanted it to be sort of with the same blended colors on those words as well. So I'm not showing that one. I did exactly the same as here. It's not always that easy to recreate a background exactly, but I didn't mind that there are some other elements or that it's not exactly the same. I am happy with the end result eventually, so that's what matters. But just so you know, I created another panel with these colors. Now I can start assembling a bit of this card. So first of all, I want that one bunny with the bouquet to be able to walk to the other bunny and give the flowers. So therefore I am using these straight sliders from Mama Elephant, and I'm using the smallest one, and I'm going to die cut this slider out of my Grassy board that I created, and this way I will create my moving mechanism. So here I have my two pieces, and I am going to inlay that green small piece because I want to have that green all over the bottom. I don't want any other color in that slit, so just adding it with some Tombo. And now I'm going to create a slider mechanism. So there are some sliders available. I think this is from My Favorite Things, if I'm not wrong, but I got two with an order for free from Cloud9, so I'm using one of them. I will need to order some. So what you can do is you can die cut a few circles and make sure that it's steady enough, or you can use a coin. So we have in Europe 1, 2 and 5 cents. I first added the slider piece with Tombo, but in the end I will use some Scor Tape just to make it more secure. The 1 cent was the best for my image as well, just because otherwise it would be shown from behind the bunny, and that was not what I wanted. So I'm using 1 cent for this card, and then as you saw me doing, I doubled up my Scotch foam tape, and now I am making sure that the slider will be able to move, but at the same time using some foam tape helps also the slider, just to give it some space to move. So you need to make sure that the track is free for that coin to move, and then of course it has to have some wiggle room to be able to slide from left to right. So this is the moving mechanism, and now I need to make sure that where I am adhering that bunny, it's the right spot. So here I added it, and then I saw that coin from behind the bunny, so I removed it quickly and adhered it correctly this time. So now I am going to continue with my words. So I am die cutting love you, just seeking placement here, but these dies are much wider than the eventually die cut words, so it's not that realistic. But here you can see that extra panel that I have inblended, try to sort of mimic the colors, and I have die cut love you out of it. So now I am adding those details on top of my panel, and as soon as I'm happy with it, I am going to adhere everything using some Tombo liquid glue as well. So now onto the letters. I have die cut it also twice out of white cardstock just to give it some dimension, and I'm gluing everything on top of each other using that liquid glue again. Then to get the words right on my card, I am first going to line them up using the grids on my craft mat. And then I will be taking my purple tape. It's something that I saw at Laura Besson, her YouTube channel. Once you are happy with placement of your letters, you can take some purple tape, adhere it on the purple tape, and then you have perfect placement. So that's what I did here, and I'm doing exactly the same for you as well. And then I will be using some liquid glue once more to get these on top of my card. So now I am adding the rest of my images that I have colored in, and then I just need to create my card base, adhere it on top, and add some final details. I am finishing this card with some Ranger glossy accents as well as some stickles on the little dots in the flowers, and then this card is finished. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. I hope that the coloring gave you some ideas on how to start with your distress inks. I really enjoyed making this card, and I am planning to make a similar card as well, but a slimline card, and maybe other images. But that's for later. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I truly appreciate you all. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you love this video, you can always give it a thumbs up. And I am hoping to see you next time again. Bye!